The Veiled Shadows, a haunting in Transylvania. Once a quiet village in the heart of Hungary, it is now a haunting presence that sends shivers down the spines of its residents. Whispers float through the mist-covered streets, tales of vampiric creatures lurking in the shadows, and the undeniable presence of Count Dracula's legacy. Forever linked to the chilling tale of Vlad the Impaler, this village faces an eerie reality as its residents wrestle with the inexplicable. As night falls and the moon casts an ominous glow on the ancient hilltop castle, the villagers' fears deepen and their determination to unravel the mysteries that surround them grows. Will they discover the truths hidden in the darkness, or will they succumb to the timeless lure of the vampire's embrace? Only time will tell in this cursed village, haunted by the legacy of Vlad the Impaler and with the potential for darkness and redemption in every corner. The reports from the village hit by this fate spread like wildfire on the internet and also reached Colonel Schmidt from the BND, Federal Intelligence Service. He immediately calls Ralph Saller, the special investigator for paranormal cases, and instructs him to investigate this cursed village. Ralph lands in Budapest, Hungary, and from there he takes a train. He knows from stories that vampires cannot tolerate sunlight. In addition, a targeted push with a wooden stake into the heart can eliminate these creatures. Furthermore, garlic, holy water, running water and, most importantly, a consecrated crucifix can destroy these creatures. The landscape becomes mountainous and he soon reaches the Transylvania region. He takes a taxi that takes him to the cursed village. There are crosses and images of saints everywhere in the taxi. It was already getting dark when he arrived. The taxi driver advises him to go to the guest house immediately and not to leave it overnight. Ralph receives a consecrated image of Saint Mary as a gift from him. The taxi driver tells him that God will be with you and quickly drives out of the cursed village. Ralph goes to the guest house, they open it carefully and immediately block the door behind him with a solid piece of wood that is anchored in the door. Garlic and crucifixes hang everywhere. The landlady is very friendly and very happy that Ralph Saller is finally here. The residents have been eagerly awaiting him and hope that he can free them from the plague of bloodsuckers. Alienaria Shop. Your one-stop fashion destination. Attention, fashion enthusiasts of all ages. Step into the extraordinary world of Alienaria, where style meets intergalactic flair. Whether you're a man, woman, or child, we've got the trendiest clothing and accessories to make you stand out from the crowd. Visit Alienaria Shop today and let us help you defy gravity with our mind-blowing fashion selections. Prepare to be abducted by style. The landlady says, "Welcome, Mr. Saller. Our entire village is happy that you are helping us. Your room is up the stairs and the first door on the left. Please do not open any windows or leave the house overnight. Dangerous creatures are out and about at night." Ralph immediately replies, "But I have to examine your village, good woman." The woman says, "That also works during the day because the creatures live in the dungeon at the top of the castle. Be warned, however, vampires do not sleep in coffins during the day as we know from horror films. If these monsters have the chance, they attack immediately. Some of our village have already died. We had to chop off their heads and drive a wooden stake into their hearts, otherwise they would wake up as vampires." Ralph says, "Thank you very much for your advice, Ms. My name is Helga. Helga answers immediately. Ralph goes up to his room, and from all the exertions of his journey he immediately falls into a deep sleep. Ralph wakes up in the middle of the night. He hears a knock on his bedroom window. He looks at the window but can't see who or what was knocking. Ralph sees that it is a full moon night. There is enough light that he can see a lot of things on the street. He quickly sees figures scurrying around. Suddenly the grimace appears at his window. Ralph almost has a heart attack. It is a distorted face of a woman with sharp, irritating teeth in her mouth and red eyes. Suddenly her face changes. This woman now has a very young face with bright green eyes and snow-white skin. She says, "Come on, stranger. Open the window and let's have some fun." The female vampire starts laughing loudly and viciously and turns back into the monster and disappears. Ralph, completely perplexed, decides to search the castle the next day. He knows that he has to be very careful. These creatures are not to be trifled with. The next morning, Ralph enjoys the hearty breakfast that Helga had prepared for him. Ralph tells her what happened to him last night. He reports about the vampire at his window. Helga then says, "That's completely normal here. Every night these vampires emerge from the depths of the castle and search for prey here and in the surrounding area." Ralph says to Helga, "I will end this terror. I will go into the castle and put these unholy creatures out of their existence. But first I need a wooden stake." The landlady Helga says, "I have a sharpened wooden stake in the house in case these creatures break in. But that's not enough. The head must also be severed. Here I give you a handy splitting axe and a garlic necklace. Also, if you have a crucifix, wear it openly." These creatures do not sleep. On the contrary, they wait for someone to come to them. Just be careful. If you are bitten, you are no longer welcome in my house. Ralph replies, "Thank you very much, and I understand what you mean by that, Mrs. Helga." Helga gives him the axe, the wooden stake and a garlic necklace. Ralph goes up to his room, hangs the valuable crucifix around his neck and takes some extra holy water with him. He is now well equipped and makes his way into the castle. Ralph is stopped again by Helga as he is about to leave the house. She says to him, "Mr. Saller, I don't know if it will help, but I'll tell you the story of this castle. I don't know if you know the Hungarian story of Vlad the Impaler. Many filmmakers have transformed this persona into Dracula the vampire lord. But what few people know is that he had a half-brother, an illegitimate child whose mother died during birth. Vlad's father hid the brat here in this castle. The child was raised by servants of an evil sect. Every food was mixed with human blood and the child had to eat it during unholy incantations. At the age of 21 he died of a blood disease. But he rose from his coffin after 7 days as an undead bloodsucker. This creature turned each of these servants into a vampire. Many have come to put an end to this activity, but the plague always returns. No one could find the vampire Vlad's half-brother. It has to be well hidden somewhere. So also look for secret passages, Mr. Saller. That's all I can give you." Ralph thanked her for this information and now goes very concentrated and carefully to the castle. Ralph considers how best to proceed with his mission. The castle lies in front of him and it makes a frightening, dark impression. It is a warning to anyone who plans to set foot in it. This castle is cursed and cannot be found in any tourist guide. Ralph now walks over a wooden bridge. Below him is a deep abyss. The gate is open and he goes in. A large courtyard lies in front of him with several buildings. Many of them are already crumbling ruins. He carefully approaches the main building. The door is smashed from its hinges. He enters the building and immediately to his left is a table with old oil lamps. He takes one and turns on the oil lamp so he can see clearly in the dark. He sees tapestries and old paintings in the large entrance hall, and only a sparse amount of sunlight comes in through the darkened windows. Ralph walks along slowly and carefully, looking around. He expects a sneaky attack from behind or from the side. He finds an entrance that leads deeper into the dark vaults of the castle. He knows now things are getting serious. He takes the wooden stake in his hand so that he can strike quickly. Ralph goes down the stairs into the castle catacombs. Once at the bottom he finds countless passages. It is in a labyrinth that has been expanded over the centuries and leads back to the village. He assumes that he must be right under the hotel. After a while he reaches a converted hall when he suddenly hears a woman's voice. "Well, lost stranger." Ralph turns around. 5 vampires have sneaked up on him from behind. There is a woman underneath. He recognizes her. It is the same one who was at his window. The 5 transform into creatures with pointed teeth and sharp claws and attack. Ralph picks up the cross and the sharpened stake. He destroys the first vampire with a targeted push with the stake. The creature is destroyed immediately. He held the cross to the forehead of another, who hissed in pain, and then he destroyed her with the stake. He made the last 3 immobile with the holy water and also freed them from their unholy existence thanks to the stake. Afterwards he took the axe and chopped off their heads. Ralph had to take a breather first. The fight had taken a toll on him. On the ceiling he heard the sounds of bats that make their home in the dark hall. He continues walking and came to a statue. He took a closer look at it and found a secret niche that led to a hidden damp room. He heard a huge gasp and a monstrous bat hanging over him that was now gliding down. It's an ancient vampire. It must be the master. Vlad's missing half-brother. It doesn't wait and attacks immediately. Ralph smashes an ampoule on the vampire's head. The creature staggers back but, unfazed, it snaps back to Ralph. He drives the stake into his heart. The monster groaned. Ralph now holds the crucifix to his forehead. It began to glow incredibly brightly and the creature burned and turned to dust. Ralph knew about this castle and the village is now free from evil. He made his way back to the village, but it took him hours to find his way out of this underground labyrinth. A big celebration was held in the village after Ralph freed the residents from the vampires. In gratitude he was given food and drink and a golden amulet from the village parish. He is told that it starts to light up when vampires are nearby. He gratefully accepts it. The next day he sets off back to Germany. Colonel Schmidt sent him an email. It's his next case. It's about a person who traveled through time. The evidence is an old photo from 1925 with this person in it. This person is pictured wearing a t-shirt, jeans and a smartphone from today.